Mary was trying to get to her grandfather's house. With no car and no money, her only option would be to hitchhike. Standing on the side of the road with two other hitchhikers, a blue van approached the group. They were disappointed to find out the driver only had room for one. The other two hitchhikers would pass, expressing safety concerns, but Mary would happily take the offer. Her fellow hitchhikers would implore her to wait for a safer opportunity in which they could travel together, but Mary insisted she'd be fine. They exchanged pleasantries, and that put Mary at ease. She would eventually fall asleep. As Mary woke from her nap, she quickly realized they were headed in the wrong direction. After some protests, the driver apologized and got back on course. The driver eventually pulled over to stretch his legs and use the restroom. Mary would get out the vehicle as well as she was starting to feel uneasy. She stretched her legs and tied her shoelaces just in case she needed to. When Mary came to, she found herself bound in the back of the stranger's van. She would plead to him to let her go. He would eventually pull over, but only to sexually assault Mary. This would go on through the night. The van eventually pulled over to a secluded area where the stranger pulled out Mary and dragged her body towards a culvert. He pulled out a hatchet and chopped off both of Mary's arms right below the elbows and tossed her body over a culvert, leaving her for dead. In pain and agony, Mary would soon lose consciousness. Mary lost a significant amount of blood and had no idea where she was. In coming to, her pain was intolerable, but the only thought Mary had was to survive. She could hear cars in the distance, so she painstakingly climbed uphill towards the sounds. Once she reached the road, she had to walk with her hands up to keep her insides from falling out. A good Samaritan would soon pull over and get Mary the help she needed. "10 days later, with the help of Mary's ID, her captor, Lawrence Singleton, was arrested. He get 14 and a half years for his crime.